Ayala? Here. Mr. Bickle?
Here.
Mrs. Hines?
Here.
Mr. Coleman?
Here.
Mr. Salzburger?
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, letter C, celebrations. We're going to have the science fair contestants come up. We'll start with the primary school.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Diana Remick. I teach science and gifted and talented at the primary school, K-2. And so part of my program is to offer science fair to students. We primarily focus on second grade, and it's great to see all the returning participants are a lot of students that I had as well. 10 years ago, I was told we were the only school district in the Valley that didn't have kids participating in our own science fair. So we started with second grade, and that year I had 6 students. They all got first place, and it was quite an achievement. This year I had 4 second grade boys compete. We have Braxton here and Alden. I also have Dominic and Theo who are not here. And then our youngest participant, Arthur Barda, is a kindergartner. He did the project on his own with his mom, and he took first place. And so very proud of all these students and all their hard work and everything that they do. And so congratulations to all of you that I had before too. But thanks for letting us have this program. I think it's really great for all the kids. So, all right.
I need to move.
I will just hold them and okay.
All right, now the intermediate school.
All right, I won the fight. Please round it up. We did the science fair for our 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. So we have Kason Hines in 3rd grade. He did Battle of the Matters. We have Carter Salzburger who did Sticky Sweet Science, and he ended up with 3rd place in the 3rd and 5th grade division. 4th graders, we have Taylor Fisher. He did Chocolate Explosion. We have Natasha Fife. She did the Physics of Flight, How Weight Grounds Your Launch. She received 2nd place in the 3rd through 5th grade division, and she also received the Air Force Award. We have 5th grader Abraham Ottawa. He did Fabulous Fire Starters. He got Best in Fair, Lower Fair Project of 2026, and he also received the NASA Earth Systems Science Award. And then for 6th graders, we had Ginny Lynn Zamora. She did My Egg Experiment. And then we had Mila Roller, who did From River to Refreshment, and she received 2nd place from the Colorado chapter of Soil and Water Conservation. So we got a lot of awards for our 3rd through 6th grade. So good job, guys. It worked really, really hard. You guys are welcome to take your points.
I had a late comer, so I want to introduce to you Theo. Theo was one of our 2nd grade boys who did lemon power, and one of the things he discovered is you cannot use lemons without seeds to power. So, congratulations.
All right, now the junior and senior high school. Do you have anybody for the junior, senior high school? Congratulations to all the science fair participants. It looks like it was a good turnout. Very excited to be all right, next we have audience portion. Oh, wrestling. Thanks. Say wrestling. You guys want to come on up?
All right, for those of you that don't know, I'm Coach Joe Gomez. I'm the head coach of the Lahana Lady Tigers Wrestling high school program. This year we had 8 state qualifiers, and that's a pretty big jump from 2 years ago when we first started and we had no state qualifiers. And then last year we had 4, so we doubled that to 8 this year. This year we had 2 girls that placed at the tournament. Both were high school state finalist runner-ups, Isabella Ortiz and Ileani Garcia. They both were in the finals. Fortunately, we didn't win our last matches, but the determination, the hard work that these girls put in, the coaching staff that I have, Coach Laz Mendoza couldn't be here, and his daughter, it was his father-in-law's 80th birthday. So, but Jake Prine, Joe Ortiz, they're my assistant coaches. Chloe Nunez, she qualified. This was her first year qualifying as a sophomore. Sheree Valenzuela, did I say that right? Yeah, all right. I spelled it wrong on the shirt, so I wanted to make sure I had it right. She qualified for her first time, and then we had 2 freshmen qualify, which were Lori Rose Leba and Aislinn Martin. And then the other 2 that also made it were Mia Mendoza and Melanie Garcia Castillo. Sorry, I'm not feeling too great today, but I'm still here. But I just want to tell the girls it's a great season. Coaches, thank you guys very much, and continue to do great things for the Lady Tigers program.
I'm Coach Tyler for the boys. This year, we did a whole lot on just trying to be the best at the end of the year. And I think this group did a great job at doing just that. They finished 6th overall as a team. That's a big group accomplishment. We were 1 point out of the top 5. We had 3 state placers, 3 finalists. We had 2 state runner-ups, Jordan Gamez and Santos Nunez. And we had 1 state champ. His name is Joseph Gamez, this guy right here. It was really amazing just watching their growth throughout the year, them figuring things out, them starting to believe in themselves, and just all the things that they accomplished. It was just a great opportunity for me as a coach to be their fan. It was just amazing. I have my assistant coach with me, Diego Reyes, Greg Salas. We had 8 qualifiers. 2 of them are not here. Mario Romero, he's our 106 pounder, and Uriah Vigil, our heavyweight. So complete opposite of the spectrum there. We have Josiah Martinez. He is a junior, so we'll have him back. Steven Perez, also a junior, so we'll have him back. And Rafe Robinson, who is a sophomore, so we'll be returning those guys. We only have 3 seniors, which is Santos Nunez, Little Joe, and Mario.
Guys, come this way.
Okay, letter D, audience portion. We have several people signed up. Just a reminder to follow the guidelines that were at the front when you signed up, and then there is a 5-minute limit on speaking. First we have Carla Garcia.
So I'm going to hit implement now just because I'm going to be reading. So there's 2 pages of. Doesn't matter which.
Whichever.
Good evening. My name is Carla Garcia, and I'm a parent of this district. I want to begin by acknowledging the moment that we're in, a period of transition. I recognize that rebuilding takes time, and I appreciate the effort being made to move forward. However, I am here tonight because I believe this moment also represents an opportunity, not just to recover, but to improve how we serve some of our most vulnerable students. During times like this, I believe that it becomes even more critical to recognize the need to remain consistent, transparent, and accountable throughout our school setting for our children. My son is a vulnerable student. He has an ADHD diagnosis and a bilateral hearing loss. He has an IEP in place to support both his learning and his ability to safely access his education. Over this past year, I've experienced a pattern of concern, not based on a single incident, but on repeated breakdowns in communication, coordination, and consistency. My son was transitioned from a one-on-one paraprofessional to an as-needed at the end of last school year. While I supported this decision, the structured transition we discussed wasn't implemented with fidelity. He was placed in a classroom with a teacher who was in the process of leaving, and I was not formally notified of that change. At the same time, I had been actively communicating concerns regarding his social and emotional well-being and experiences with bullying. During the most recent IEPs, it was disclosed that multiple paraprofessionals had been rotating in and out, causing him confusion. I'm going to kind of skip over here. In another instance, I was contacted by the principal regarding an incident where my son was physically harmed. However, prior reports that I had made about bullying had not been fully communicated or understood at the administration level. It was also revealed that his hearing aid usage had significantly decreased, and I'm going to skip down a little bit. During our IEP, I requested communication and collaboration changes, amongst other add-ons. I also began further steps with his medical team to yield further support in areas that we may be missing. Naturally, I wonder if other families have felt dismissed in advocating for their children. I now attend one recess per week to better understand my son's communication because of inconsistent observations. Being present has helped me better understand and respond to him after school. These are not isolated issues. These are indicators of systemic gaps. To be very clear, I have seen improvement, but only after significant persistence on my part, repeated follow-ups, and requests for documentation. And that's where my concern extends beyond my own child and to others navigating the system. Not every family has the time, resources, or ability to advocate at this level. It's not about blame. This is about ensuring that communication between staff and families is consistent and transparent. IEPs plans are implemented as written. Changes in staff supports and student needs are clearly communicated. Bullying and safety concerns are tracked, shared, and addressed across all levels, and that parents feel like partners, not outsiders trying to piece together what is happening during their child's school day. So tonight I'm asking you for something simple but important. That this district creates an open space for ongoing dialogue with families, especially those in special education. We have an opportunity right now not just to rebuild, but to rebuild better. And as we move forward, I want to leave you with this. No child should be left behind. Not in policy, not in practice, and not in communication. Thank you for your time, and a special thank you to Dr. Krumholtz for stepping into this role and fostering a welcoming and optimistic culture shift within our district. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Carolina Traver.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the East Otero School Board and the administration. My name is Carolina Traver, and I'm currently serving as the instructional coach here at the intermediate school. I've been a teacher in Colorado for more than 30 years, and I've spent nearly a third of my career in this district. I care deeply about the success of our schools and our community. First, I'd like to thank our current school board members and administrators for your dedication to providing an excellent educational experience for our students. I appreciate your commitment and transparency as you take on the difficult task of addressing errors and inconsistencies from previous years. I am encouraged by the opportunity for our students and staff to flourish in an environment where policies are applied consistently and where strategic systems are implemented to improve outcomes for both our students and the broader community. I've been especially encouraged by the progress in our student achievement and the overall culture of learning that I've witnessed this year at the intermediate school, in part due to the support from our partnership with TNTP. And I'm grateful to be part of that continued growth in that process. That said, I would hate to see the challenges from our current financial situation to hinder or reverse the gains that we've made. Over the past few years, due to critical shortage of licensed teacher applicants, we have filled teaching positions with individuals who are working to get licensed through non-traditional pathways. In our building alone, we have 13 teachers who are working to earn their credentials while simultaneously fulfilling the duties of full-time instructors. These duties include, but are not limited to, planning and preparing lessons, internalizing new curriculum, delivering whole group and small group instruction, providing accommodations for students with IEPs, READ plans, ALPs, ELD plans, assessing and tracking student data, grading and reteaching with targeted interventions, and collaborating in weekly professional learning communities. Our district has invested significant time, money, training, and resources into developing these individuals to provide high-quality instruction. Much of the on-the-job training, coaching, and professional development they've received is more intensive than what is typically provided in traditional college programs. These people are valuable assets to our district. As per district policy, these individuals must reapply each year to remain in their positions. As a result, we're asking them to reapply for the upcoming year, even though there will not be enough positions available. Additionally, due to the past financial and contractual errors, those who do reapply might be asked to return to the same demanding roles with significantly reduced compensation and without benefits. For these reasons, I worry that many will choose not to reapply, and we would lose the substantial investments we've made in their development. I believe such a loss could undermine the progress we've made in improving student learning. I respectfully ask the district to consider financial solutions that do not negatively impact these dedicated and hardworking individuals who are committed to continuing their teaching careers in our district. At a minimum, I hope these aspiring teachers can be assured that if they reapply, they'll receive compensation and benefits comparable to what they've had this year. As the district makes necessary staffing reductions to restore financial stability, it will be appropriate to apply existing policy to new unlicensed applicants. However, for those who are already serving our students and have demonstrated their commitment to this district, I respectfully ask that an exception be considered. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
All right, next we have Lena Ortiz. We all signed it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Linnea Ortiz, and I'm the 6th grade ELA teacher at the Lahaina Intermediate School. This is my 9th year with the district, and I'm here today in support of my team and the teachers who have been affected by the recent financial crisis. I understand the need to cut positions if we are overstaffed. What I do not understand is the drastic cut in pay for people who have invested time, effort, and passion into their roles while working to complete the requirements for licensure. This extreme reduction will force many of them to make an impossible choice: stay in a district where they had hoped to build a long-term career, or leave simply to earn a livable wage. Much of the school board and admin are new, but I hope you have seen the growth we have made in the past 3 or 4 years, both academically and culturally. This progress is due, in part, to the very teachers who are now facing these cuts. These educators have been a part of the efforts that have led to the changes that we have accomplished. They have built relationships, created stability, and contributed to the positive momentum that we're finally seeing. If we force them out, who will fill those positions? Individuals who are less qualified and not invested in a future with the district, or experienced teachers who will cost us even more money? I have been a part of the interview process for several years, and applications from licensed qualified teachers are already rare. I imagine we will see even less now with the financial crisis we find ourselves in. I implore you to reconsider this decision. We have the opportunity to grow our own educators. These aspiring teachers have already invested their time and energy in our district. They have worked diligently to help the students make the academic gains needed as we work to get out of turnaround. I ask you to consider grandfathering them in and adjusting the pay scale for future new hires who do not yet meet licensure requirements. Perhaps the pay scale could include additional steps: one rate for those with an associate's degree, another for those with a bachelor's degree, with advancement tied to progress towards their degree and/or licensure. You could also require a commitment to the district for a set number of years for anyone hired while still completing their credentials. Whatever you decide, I hope you consider the damage that will be done to all of the hard work of the past few years, work that can only be accomplished by teachers who care and are here for the right reasons. We have those teachers now, and we need to do everything we can to keep them here. As I mentioned, this is my 9th year in the district and my 8th year in 6th grade. I've had a new team every single year. For the first time, I was set to have the same team for 2 years in a row. If this change stands, I will lose at least half of them. Please reconsider. Thank you.
Audrey.
Oh,
Dear members of the school board, my name is Adriana Juki, and I'd like to share a little about my journey in education and the path that has led me to where I am today. I began working in education in 2015 as a teacher aide with Child Development Services while attending OJC. From there, I continued working with students as a tutor interpreter through Santa Fe Trail BOCES for over 5 years. In January of 2022, I became an educational paraprofessional with East Otero School District, and shortly after, in July of 2022, I stepped into the classroom as a teacher. Since then, I've taught 6th grade math, science, and social studies. Altogether, I have been serving students in educational settings for over 10 years. During my first year and a half teaching for the district, I worked extremely hard to complete my bachelor's degree in educational studies while also managing the responsibilities of being a full-time teacher. I was proud to complete my degree because my goal has always been to grow as an educator and continue serving students in our community. However, navigating the process of obtaining my teaching license has been very difficult and confusing. I've struggled to find clear guidance on the steps I need to take. I enrolled in an alternative licensure program in good faith, hoping it would help me move forward. Unfortunately, the structure of the program did not align well with my work responsibilities as a full-time teacher or with my responsibilities at home as a mom. Trying to balance the demands of the program, my classroom, and my family became overwhelming, and without clear guidance, I often felt lost in the process. In addition to these challenges, the financial burden of licensure requirements has created another significant barrier. The cost of required praxis exams extremely difficult to manage on my current salary. The ELA praxis alone is around $200 and the math praxis is approximately $64. On a salary of about $20,000, these costs are simply not feasible for me to pay out of pocket. This creates an additional obstacle for educators like myself who are already working hard to meet all the expectations while supporting our families. Despite these challenges, my commitment to my students and my school has never changed. I truly love the school I work for. I feel incredibly fortunate to have an amazing principal and vice principal and a supportive team at La Junta Intermediate who have had my back from the very beginning. Their encouragement has helped me continue doing the work that I care about deeply. I have worked incredibly hard to get where I am today, and I would hate for that effort, along with the support I've received from my colleagues, go to waste. I respectfully ask the board to take into consideration the many dedicated teachers who are facing similar challenges while trying to meet licensure requirements. Many of us are deeply committed to our students and our community, and we're working hard to meet the expectations while balancing full-time teaching responsibilities and family life. Thank you for taking the time to listen and for considering the experiences of educators like myself who truly want to continue serving our students and the district.
Diego.
Can Michael actually go first? Yeah. Thank you. No, it was kind of a combined. Thank you.
Okay, Michael.
All right. Good evening, Dr. Crumholz, school board members. My name is Michael Andrews. I'm a 6th grade math teacher here at La Junta Intermediate School. This is my first year here in East Otero School District, and I hoped it would be the beginning of a long career here. Before I decided to teach, I served 11 years in the United States Army. I also served as an ER nurse, and I was a network engineer at SECO. All these jobs were meaningful. And provided financial stability, but something was missing. When the opportunity to teach presented itself, I felt called to serve in a different way. Throughout my life, I've had teachers and coaches support me and guide me when I needed it. I've also had the privilege of coaching and making a difference in a few young lives. As a classroom teacher now, I have the opportunity to be a positive role model and an influence on many lives, and that means a great deal to me. This year, I was fortunate enough to join the school district as we implemented the illustrative math curriculum. I've learned alongside my colleagues and have benefited greatly from working with Josh from TNTP, who has helped me develop strong instructional practice and learn how to internalize lessons effectively. These trainings have been invaluable, and I'm eager to continue improving my craft over the coming years. However, the significant pay cut I'm facing next year puts the future in jeopardy. I'm currently attending WGU, and it's my sincere hope to remain in the position teaching 6th grade math. But if the reduction in pay stands, I will not be able to continue with the district while finishing my degree. This decision could change the trajectory of my life and the career I hoped would be my last. I respectfully ask you to reconsider this decision so that I can continue to serving students and making a difference in their lives. Thank you for your time.
All right, Diego.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Diego Reyes, and I am the 6th grade science teacher. This is my first year teaching in East Otero School District, although I joined the district last year near the end of the school year as a para. I chose to apply for a teaching position here because I genuinely love the environment I experienced in this district. I saw staff members treat one another with respect, care, and professionalism. I also saw the way students were supported, and I personally felt welcomed and valued. The positive culture is what made me want to become a teacher here. Like my colleagues, I share many of the concerns that have already been expressed tonight. However, I would also like to raise a few additional questions that I am not sure have yet been fully addressed. It was mentioned that teachers who do not yet hold their license might be brought back only if their position is not filled. If that were to happen, they would return as long-term substitutes earning $125 per day without discretionary days and without benefits. At that rate, the annual pay would be around $20,000, which is roughly half of what we currently earn as teachers. Respectfully, that is not a sustainable or realistic option. Like many others, I would not be able to return under those conditions. This is not simply a matter of preference, but is a matter of financial survival. We are being asked to continue doing the work of full-time teachers while being paid at a rate that does not reflect those responsibilities. I also believe there are important practical questions that need to be answered if this is the direction the district intends to take. First, who would be responsible for lesson planning? Substitute teachers typically step into classrooms where plans have already been prepared. If long-term substitutes are expected to fully run classrooms, then they are no longer functioning in the traditional role of a substitute. Second, who would be responsible for grading, parent communication, and parent-teacher conferences? These are essential parts of being a classroom teacher. They require time, preparation, and professional responsibility well beyond the school day. Third, who would be held accountable for student progress, classroom data, and the many other duties that come with teaching? If the expectation is that these individuals would still carry the full workload of a licensed teacher, then the compensation and support should reflect that reality. Again, I say this with respect because I care deeply about this district and this community. Many of us want to stay. We love our students, we love teaching, and we love this district. But we also have families, bills, and responsibilities outside of school. Asking educators to do full-time professional work for approximately $20,000 a year without benefits is simply not reasonable. My concern is not only for the employees affected, but also for the district as a whole. Other districts are hiring right now, and many offer better starting salaries and support for teachers who are still in a licensure program. Policies like this could make it much harder for East Otero to retain committed educators and recruit new ones in the future. I respectfully ask the board to reconsider any plan that expects educators to carry the responsibilities of a full-time teacher while being classified and compensated as substitutes. That approach is unfair to staff, unsustainable for families, and ultimately harmful to students. If we truly value education, then we must also value the educators who make it responsible. Thank you for your time and for listening.
Okay, next we have Mariah Arguello.
Hello, I am Mariah Arguello, and I have a letter to read. So, I am a third grade teacher here, and I want to start off by saying that I am more than grateful for the opportunity to be a teacher. You know, when you graduate high school and even college, sometimes you're still just not sure where life is going to lead you. You can earn a degree in one thing and totally have a career in something else. And that's what happened to me. I always knew I wanted a job helping people in some capacity, but never did I think I would actually be a teacher someday. The rewards that I have come with teaching outweigh the bad, like long hours and not always feeling like students, parents, and coworkers appreciate all you do, even though deep down inside you know that isn't always the truth. After receiving my associate's degree, I started working for SEAL Academy for Santa Fe Trail BOCES. I wanted to give back to an organization that helped me out when I needed the help. At 2 years old, I had a frontal brain tumor removed, and as most people know, this brings challenges throughout life. But no matter the challenges I had, BOCES was always there for me. Even when I no longer needed them, they were still there. I wanted to return that favor and help students who really needed the help and guidance to understand their lives matter, even when they feel like it doesn't. I worked as a paraprofessional for 4 years and became a science teacher my 5th year with them.
After receiving my bachelor's degree in psychology, I thought I wanted to start off in a field that would help me put my degree into practice. So I applied for the student advocate position. Unfortunately, that job was no longer available, but I did get offered a teaching position as a 5th grade teacher. I taught 5th grade for 2 years, and I am now completing my 2nd year as a 3rd grade teacher. Being a teacher is not easy. It requires long hours. I start my mornings off at 7:30 a.m. and work as late as 5:30 p.m. or even longer. You're always working from home as well as grading papers or whatnot. Taking the teaching job, I knew I would have to continue working towards receiving my teacher certification. It's not always easy. I studied so hard for my praxis test last summer only to realize that I have a lot more studying to do. On top of that, I am now working on the READ app. It is very time consuming and I am learning a lot, but between working long hours and studying for these 2 requirements, it can be tough, but I know in the end it will be very rewarding. During my spring break, I studied every moment I had. I hope to have the READ app done soon. I am committed to growing, improving, and doing everything I can to be the best teacher for my students. I don't have kids of my own, so these kids truly feel like my kids. Watching them learn, grow, and believe in themselves is the most rewarding part of my job. I want every child to know that they matter, they are capable, and that they can be anything they dream of being. I also want to recognize my fellow coworkers. I can say without a doubt that they are some of the most dedicated, hardworking, and compassionate people I know. Our students are incredibly lucky to have them. East Otero School District is not just where I work, it's where I grew up, it's my home, and there is no place I would rather continue my career than right here, serving this community and these students. Thank you for your time.
All right, then we have Hannah Adame.
Dear members of the school board, I'm writing to express my concerns and frustrations regarding a recent request that I leave my current position at La Junta Intermediate School, as well as to raise an additional concern regarding policies affecting unlicensed staff. I began my journey in La Junta in 2017 when the school was short on staff and the principal at the time, Brenda Woodyard, gave me the opportunity to teach 6th grade math while I completed my student teaching for my bachelor's degree in elementary education. That opportunity meant a great deal to me and began my connection with this district and community. After that time, I stepped away to complete my master's in educational leadership and a master's in special education. In January of 2021, I received a call from Claudia Apodaca letting me know that the 6th grade science teacher had unexpectedly quit and school would be resuming in 2 days. I greatly accepted the position and stepped in to help the school and students during this difficult time. Since that day, I have worked at La Junta Intermediate and can honestly say that I found my professional home and a school community that feels like family. I'm sorry. For the past 2 years, I have worked in special education with Danica Ferreira as my mentor. During this time, I have truly found my calling. Special education is where I feel I make the greatest difference and where my skills are best utilized. As we know, there is a nationwide teacher shortage, and the special education population is particularly difficult to fill. More than 20% of our student population receives special education services, yet many educators nationwide are not certified in this field. Over the last 2 years, our team has worked extremely hard to build a strong special education department at La Junta Intermediate. We have seen tremendous academic growth in our students and even had multiple students test off their academic IEPs. These successes are the direct result of consistent collaboration and dedication from our team. For this reason, it has been extremely difficult to learn that I'm now being asked to leave my position, my calling, and the work that I believe I'm best suited for after 5.5 years due to Gina Griffey being in an administrative position. In practice, Claudia Apodaca has always been my direct supervisor. When I take time off, need administrative support for behavioral situations, or address any work-related issue, Claudia is the person that I communicate with. She has conducted all of my observations and evaluations and she serves as my mentor and instructional coach through bi-weekly meetings. Gina Griffey has never conducted an observation or evaluation in my classroom, nor has she overseen my work. When I was hired, we were intentional about maintaining strict boundaries to avoid blurring the lines between family and professional roles. The district policy titled Conflicts of Interest states that the district prohibits an employee from exercising supervisory authority, appointment, dismissal authority, or disciplinary action over a member of the employee's immediate family. It defines immediate family as including spouses, partners in civil unions, children and parents, and restricts access to confidential personnel information. Gina Griffey is my immediate family member. However, she has never served as my direct supervisor. All job-related decisions involving the appointment, evaluation, disciplinary action, and supervision have consistently been handled by the principal, Claudia Apodaca. Additionally, we must consider the reality of living in a small community. Many people within our district and community are related. Our goal should be to encourage individuals who grew up here to pursue education, return to the community, and contribute to the growth and the success of our schools and students. If this policy was a dire concern, I should not have been called upon 5.5 years ago when the district was in dire need. However, I was hired and approved by the board, knowing that Gina was in the assistant principal position and I would be working within the same building. In 5.5 years, we have never had an issue because personal and professional lines have always been kept separate. I'm asking the board to consider a change in policy or an exemption due to previous decisions that were made. Another relevant policy, professional staff positions, state that all certified administrative and supervisory positions must be established by the board, and any changes, titles, or responsibility must also be approved by the board. I'm respectfully asking that the board consider this policy and my reassignment to be discussed. At this time, there are no open special education positions in other buildings. This would mean that I was asked to move into a classroom and doing entirely different job duties or leave the district altogether, something that I truly do not want to do. Our team at La Junta Intermediate has worked hard to create a strong and effective special education department, and we are finally seeing meaningful progress with our students. I respectfully ask the board to reconsider the request for my reassignment and allow me to remain at La Junta Intermediate under the supervision of Claudia Apodaca. My second concern relates to the policy regarding benefits for unlicensed staff.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, and Gina Griffey. Dear members of the school board, my name is Gina Griffey and I currently serve as the assistant principal of the intermediate school. I have dedicated the majority of my career to the district, first serving as 5th grade teacher, then a 6th grade teacher, the instructional coach, and now in administration. I care deeply about this district, my school, and most importantly, our staff and our students. We have built a strong team, and I am very proud of the work being done in our building. I am writing to express serious concern regarding the recent pay and benefit cuts affecting teachers who are still completing their licensure program. These reductions come while expectations remain the same or continue to grow, which means a difficult and discouraging imbalance. It is not sustainable to ask educators to maintain the same level of commitment, time, and responsibility while reducing their compensation. What makes this especially concerning is that our student data shows clear and measurable improvement compared to previous years. These gains are a result of intentional effort, collaboration, and extensive professional development. The training our staff has received through TNTP has been invaluable in strengthening instructional practices, and its impact is evident in our results. Our teachers have invested significant time, often beyond their contract hours, to ensure student success. However, the current direction risks undermining that progress. When educators are asked to do more with less, morale declines and shift focus away from what matters most, student outcomes. Continued pressure without appropriate support or compensation sends a message that these efforts are not valued. It is important to recognize that being licensed does not automatically make a candidate more effective or better suited for the classroom. Our experienced and trained educators bring proven skills, have established relationships, and have a deep understanding of our student needs, qualities that are critical to sustaining and building upon our current success. Additionally, I would like to address a concern regarding the policy stating that an administrator cannot serve in the same building as a family member in what is defined as direct supervisory position. I was informed that Mrs. Adame will need to be reassigned due solely to this policy. This raises important questions as this arrangement has been in place and board approved for the past 6 years without issue. I want to be clear that I am not her direct supervisor, and we have always maintained clear professional boundaries, including not discussing school-related matters outside of work. This was a decision we deliberately made before she started working in the district. Given this history and the absence of any concerns during any of this time, I respectfully ask why this policy now is being enforced in this way and whether there is an opportunity for reconsideration, modification, or an addendum. This situation is particularly challenging given she serves as special education teacher in a building with nearly 100 students on IEPs. Qualified SPED teachers already are in short supply, and replacing an experienced, effective educator is not a simple task. Disrupting this stability will directly impact students who rely on consistency and specialized support. At this time, we have a strong staff and effective systems in place. Our intervention team is making significant strides, and our SPED team, despite their heavy workloads, continues to demonstrate meaningful student growth. However, uncertainty surrounding pay, staffing changes, and policy enforcement is negatively affecting morale. My greatest concern is that ultimately it is our students who will bear the consequences. I urge the board to carefully consider the long-term impact on these decisions. Retaining and supporting skilled, committed educators must remain a priority. The progress we are seeing is a result of intentional investment in people, and that investment should be protected.
Do we have any others signed up, Jen? Okay. Okay, letter D, letter E, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as printed. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ayala.
Aye.
Mr. Dickel.
Aye.
Mrs. Hines.
Aye.
Mr. Colovitz.
Aye.
Mr. Salzberger.
Aye.
All right, number 2, consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as printed. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Questions, comments? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Ayala.
Aye.
Mr. Dickel.
Aye.
Mrs. Hines.
Aye.
Mr. Colovitz.
Aye.
Mr. Salzberger.
Aye.
Number 3, financial report.
Sarah and Kim asked to hold off this month because they don't have any new additions with the short, the end of February enrolling in. Dimitri has asked for a couple more weeks, and we will ask for a emergency meeting to accept the audit, and they'll be back on track, and they're working on the budget, and we'll have that presented. They just didn't have any new information at this time. And Dimitri will be done before, that's why we'll probably do one in 2 weeks. We'll get that set up as soon as he finds that out. It'll be done before our next board meeting.
So you're recommending to table to a special meeting?
Yes.
Motion to table. Make a motion to table it to the next meeting?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to table until a special meeting can be called. Questions, comments?
I just have a comment, I guess. I find it ironic that Abacus, who's doing good work, made a big point out of board members looking at the finances every month, even if nothing's new reported. I would like to see the finances in there, even if they haven't changed.
Any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Ayala?
Aye.
Mr. Bickle?
Aye.
Mrs. Hines?
Aye.
Mr. Colvitz?
Aye.
Mr. Salzbringer?
Aye.
All right, minutes.
Move to approve the February 23rd minutes as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the February 23rd regular board meeting. Questions, comments? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Ayala?
Aye.
Mr. Bickle?
Aye.
Mrs. Hines?
Aye.
Mr. Colvitz?
Aye.
Mr. Salzbringer?
Aye.
All right, number 5, superintendent's report and recommendations.
Okay. So I have a couple things to report. First one is I have information about the pool costs. I wanted to bring that back to everybody as requested at our last board meeting. So looking at the following is what we included in the cost. Salaries for lifeguards, pool manager, para, and Medicaid for each of those. Repairs, supplies, chemicals, different things we have to do, as well as electric and water and gas and heating utility bills. So I will start. Our current cost is the 25-26 school year. We spent $129,950.31. That is with the pool being closed for quite a bit of time, so we haven't had a lot of our utilities are way down right now. The 24-25 cost was $235,000, $235,281.82. In 23-24, the cost was $204,868.03. And then in 22-23, the cost was $441,542.21. That was when we had to put a unit on the swimming pool, so that's why that year was cost. But usually we are running around over $200,000 per year. That doesn't include the cost of running the swim team. This is completely just the operating of the pool. We didn't put this on the board meeting. We will look at it down the road. But right now we have another cost that for the swimming pool, we had something else break. $16,000 is the quote we have to replace the supply fan on the pool unit. So right now the pool is not operating, and we found another issue with that we have a quote for, and that's where we're at right now. Any questions about those costs for the last 4 years? It varies on the maintenance as far as like when we do service. Some years it's several $100,000. Some years it's $8,000. It just depends on what breaks on it, what we have to replace yearly. But that is the last 4 years of where we're at.
Was any of the money from 22-23 for the new unit, was any
Yes.
of that COVID money?
That's why, I don't know if it's COVID money, but that's why the cost there was so high at $441,000. The unit cost over $200,000.
And so we're looking at, I don't know, roughly saving somewhere around $200,000 a year without them. Yeah, I mean, somewhere about, okay.
right, go ahead, sorry.
Did we, I was wondering if we could look into the grant and how it originally was done back in the day, like in the 80s? Because if you look into those with the LWCF, it was through the Land and Water Conservation ones, or DOLA. There usually was an intercity agreement, but it's probably outdated by now. But also, there's that whole issue like we had with the city with the tennis courts. You can't tear them down, or you have to fully replace them.
Which tennis courts?
The ones at the city park.
Right, that was done with a separate, yeah.
So I'm wondering if we can research that and look into that, make sure that that's not a thing, because if we do decommission that pool, we will be required to fix it or replace it with new property and a new one that's the same cost that it was at the time that it was built, and we don't want to dig ourselves into a deeper hole. So I want to make sure that it's none of those kinds of grants or, you know, stuff that they used back in the day, because those are still valid to this day.
I'm fairly certain there was no grant money involved with that. It was a straight bond issue.
Look into that and hold those records anyway.
We'll do our best to do it back to the 80s. Check this. Yeah. Yes, we can look into that.
Just to be safe.
All right. And then the next thing I have, I just wanted to kind of give a board an update. Greg and I went up to Denver on the Thursday before spring break, up to the state capitol. We met with a representative, Representative Winter, and several other representatives from the area. Talked to him about just our financial situation, some of the fines that have come through with the CD audit, and it was with the CD audit, but just, you know, the struggles we are going to have. They were all very open and listened to us, to our concerns, so it was a really productive day, just listening to what they had, and they were all very open to our concerns and our struggles right now. So it was a really good opportunity to go meet with those folks, and they took the time to meet with us, so it was a really great day. Greg, you want to add anything to that?
No, and Representative Winter was very responsive and sent a follow-up email asking where our email was. So.
Yep. And we received, yeah, he was great. He said, send me the information, and we did that. All right, that's all I have for updates.
Okay, the board will now adjourn to executive session pursuant of CRS 24-6-402, F, I, for the purpose of discussing a personal matter, specifically to conduct the superintendent's evaluation. Just an overview on our thoughts on the superintendent's evaluation. Overall, we believe he's doing a great job, and we're excited that he's here at the district, and he's getting us on track financially. We're going to have a special meeting in August to go over his goals for next year. With the strategic plan being developed, that will more than likely influence our direction on what we want him to achieve next year for the district. All right. Number 7, new business. We're going to share the results of our board self-evaluation. Does anybody have anything they want to share specifically about their evaluation? I think, go ahead, sorry.
I just think we're developing, and we're working to learn what we don't know, and I think the training that Dr. Trimble set up for us has been really helpful, and we're in development.
Yeah, I did development too. With this board, I feel like you guys are really engaged. We've done CASB together, we've done all the board trainings together. With that, it's like the governance, the policy, like everything we're doing, all that, and even maybe creating a handbook or something, you know, to help in the future with board members. I really think that we're definitely in that process. And all these trainings are mostly grant money, so it's I think it's really the best way to use that. And I definitely think we are in the process. I don't know if you guys, I don't know, I'm really excited to work with you guys. It's a whole different feel. And I can't wait to see what the future holds.
I just want to echo Mr. Krumholtz and Coleman and Ms. Ayala. I do think that we are developing and learning with each other and progressing this board and this district forward. We've had the trainings that have been very helpful, and they have helped us come together to be a board of one instead of individuals. So, I'm excited. Any other discussion? All right, item B, approve superintendent contract. Recommendation is to approve the contract as presented.
Do I have to second it? I motion that we approve the superintendent contract as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the superintendent contract as presented. Questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Mrs. Ayala?
Aye.
Mr. Bickle?
Aye.
Mrs. Hines?
Aye.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Salzburger?
Aye.
All right, letter C, approve reduction in force recommendation.
Okay, before I begin, I just wanted to let everybody know we made an error in one of the names in the recommendation. Karina Tanviga's name was added in error. She is a probationary teacher, so the RIF does not apply to her. I just wanted to clarify that. I recommend that in order to address the fiscal exigency and program change identified by the board, that the employment of the following district teachers be canceled for the 26-27 school year for the reasons identified. Marianne L. and Michael Lieb, and the reasons is need of the district and program cuts.
I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the reduction in force recommendations.
Read that.
Oh, I have to read the whole thing? Per the attorney, or the board response, I move that per board policy, the board accept the superintendent's recommendation that Marianne Howell, Michael Lieb be given notice of the proposed cancellation of their employment as teachers for the 2026-2027 school year, and that they be notified of their right to challenge the proposed action. The superintendent is directed to deliver such notice to the teachers in accordance with board policy.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the reduction in force. Questions, comments?
I have I don't know if it's a question or a comment, but, so if we're giving a reduction in force, are we still eligible to say, you know, this person worked for us, you know, positive reference or negative reference? I mean, I know you're not supposed to give negative, positive reference, and that we're able to go ahead and, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Ayala? Aye. Mr. Bickle?
Aye.
Mrs. Hines?
Aye.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Salzburger?
Aye.
All right, letter D, approve administrative staff employment renewals.
So I recommend the approval of the administrative and staff employment renewals resolutions 2026-1.
I move to approve the administrative staff employment renewals resolution 2026-1 as presented.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the administrative staff employment resolution for 2026 and 2027. Questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Mrs. Ayala? Aye. Mr. Bickle?
Aye.
Mrs. Hines?
Aye.
Mr. Colowitz?
Aye.
Mr. Salzburner?
Aye.
All right, letter E, approve revised regulations ID-R and JH-R.
I recommend approval of the revised regulations ID-R school day and JH-R guidelines for student absences and excuses. On first revised final reading, regulation ID-R is revised due to updating start and end times of the school day, and regulations JH-R is revised due to change in attendance officer.
I move to approve revised regulations ID-R and JH-R on first revised final reading as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve revised regulations ID-R and JH-R on first revised final reading. Questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Mrs. Ayala? Aye. Mr. Bickle?
Aye.
Mrs. Hines?
Aye.
Mr. Colowitz?
Aye.
Mr. Salzburner?
Aye.
All right, letter F, declare a critical shortage.
All right, I recommend declaring critical shortage of qualified superintendents, principals, teachers, school bus drivers, school nurses, and paraprofessionals. This is in case we aren't able to take care of all of our vacancies, we're able to use the critical shortage to do that. And bring back teachers that are able to go beyond the, when they retire, beyond the para days of 110 or 140.
I move to approve the district declaring a critical shortage as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the district declaring a critical shortage as presented. Questions, comments?
So this would only apply to retirees, correct?
Correct.
So, I'm trying to remember my para stuff like that, but, okay, so if you have the license and it's in hand, what you were saying is it para the 140, is that?
It's 110 or 140.
110 and 140, okay. So you're saying then retired teachers or people that still have the license, then you're doing a unique contract?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's what I wanted to, just clarify the unique contract, the one, yeah, okay.
Any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Ayala? Aye. Mr. Bickle?
Aye.
Mrs. Hines?
Aye.
Mr. Colowitz?
Aye.
Mr. Salzburner?
Aye.
All right. Number 8, board comments.
Just want to congratulate the science fair winners. That's great. And congratulate the wrestling teams. Want to thank the people that came tonight and spoke. And that's all.
I am very proud of one in particular science fair winner. Congratulations to him, as well as the rest of the third grade participants and everybody who participated. So we're super proud of them. As we're also just as equally proud of the wrestlers for doing such a great job on stage. So it's great to see that. And also, just another kudos to Dr. Crumwells for a very positive review, and thanks for sticking around.
Oh, okay. All right, I want to ask, as a board comment, since we don't have an HR person, right? If a member of our staff doesn't feel comfortable discussing a supervisor with you, what route would they take to address a HR concern when we don't have an HR person?
So that's a good question. They could either, if they obviously come to me and we can do that, but if they're not comfortable, we have a chief academic officer, as well as we have several people that are doing different roles that we would make sure they would just let me know and I could get them to somebody to hear the complaints.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're open. I mean, I take meetings with teachers, and hear their concerns, but we definitely are open to listen to anything they have to say.
I'm done.
Congratulations to the wrestlers and the science fair. Also to Mrs. Remick for growing our science fair over the years. I think without her, I don't think we'd have participation in all the grades that we have. So I just want to say thank you to her. A lot of difficult decisions were made tonight, and I just want to say